today, I decided I'm going to do a bit of a review of the hands we played yesterday on stream. So I'll give a quick recap of each hand for what went down at our table. And if you're interested in my thoughts, they should be in yesterday's VOD. So you can check those out there about the hands specifically. But I wanted to take a closer look at the other tables and what they ended up doing on the hands and talk a little bit about that, because this was from a pretty high-level match. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was like the semifinals or finals of one of the big team events at one of the NABCs. And there were 8 very strong players, 2 in each seat, who held every hand. So we can get a sense of what they did. Additionally, as we played yesterday, I noticed that there were a lot of differences in opinion between the players. We had one pair that was very hyper aggressive on our cards and one pair that was quite a bit more conservative. So differences in styles can lead to some different results and some swings. But without further ado, let's get into the hands. I don't want to make this a very long stream because I do have to prep for class and everything. But I figured that this would be a fun little exercise. It's something that I haven't done before. I haven't done a lot of post-analysis of some of the hands that I played through. So let's take a look. So first board out, I think this opens, yes, everyone can see this. So this was what happened at our table. Pertin opened a club on his 11 count. We kind of talked about this, Kurt and I, stylistically. I think he asked me, and he was curious, what's the general style for opening bids these days? And I told him that I think most expert players tend to agree that opening all 11 counts is generally considered best. And sometimes you open 10s. There was a 10 count that I opened later in the set, so we'll get there. But so he opens a club. And the one thing that you have to be careful about is when your partner does open these very weak hands, you can't just game force with another opening hand opposite it. The common kind of hilarious way of thinking about it is that 2 opening hands opposite each other should have play for 1 no trump, which is funny, but also probably quite a bit more accurate than it deserves to be. So, in the old days, people would say 2 opening hands should have play for 3 no trump, but that threshold has decreased a little bit over time. So, 1 club, I bid a heart, partner bid a no trump. I bid 2 clubs, which is a relay to 2 diamonds. Partner bid 2 diamonds, should be alerted, but I know Kurt is not that familiar with ACBL procedures or anything. I mean, he's a fairly new bridge player in general. So he bids 2 diamonds, and I raised to 3 diamonds. We talked a little about the auction yesterday. I'm not going to go back into it, but so we ended up in 3 diamonds. He ended up losing a spade and 2 diamonds to make 11 tricks, or 10 tricks. Spade and 2 diamonds for 10 tricks. So, not a bad result. It is possible that you could make 3 no trump on our cards. There are a lot of tricks available to north-south if the opponents don't work out to switch to clubs soon enough. The diamond suit can set up for 4 tricks, and then with hearts coming in, you have 3 heart tricks. You have 2 spades that you can knock out, so the opponents do have to be a little careful. But so that's what happened at our table. And this was something that we were comparing against imp-wise, so that we ended up winning 5.5, but let's take a look at what happened at both of the other tables on this one. So in one of the rooms, Christian Bache opened a club on the north hand. South bid a spade. We don't see the alerts here, but this is very likely to be some sort of artificial game force. Hey, ACDC Bun, good morning to you as well. Oh, it's probably not morning for you, but it is morning for me. So yes, good morning. A club, a spade, a no trump by north, 2 hearts, 2 no trump by north, 3 no trump by south. I'm not exactly sure what south has showed so far in the auction. If they're playing transfers over a club, which is what I suspect is happening, 1 spade probably shows diamonds, would be my thought. They might use 1 no trump as their artificial club raise or something like that. Or maybe they use 2 clubs and 1 no trump is just natural. But 1 spade probably shows diamonds, a no trump probably denies diamond support or just shows a balanced hand. 2 hearts shows hearts, 2 no trump by north and south with, you know, a pretty minimum hand depending on their opening style. And I think one of the main takeaways I got from yesterday's thing, Showstruck says he played against Boya and his wife recently, and they do play transfers over a club, but can't remember exactly what 1 spade was. Well, this is not Boya's wife, but yeah, so I suspect that Boya plays differently with a lot of his regular pro partners than he would with his wife and other kind of friends that they haven't built a giant system together with. You played against him and Christian as well. Okay. I mean, either way, my suspicion is South should have showed diamonds at some point in this auction. Otherwise, I think South has done something really, really revolting with their hand. A 6-card suit and a void. You might want to look for 5 diamonds instead of 3 no trump. But anyway, so South elects to bid the game. I mean, an 11 count, but it could depend on partner's opening style. If this hand is like fairly light for their opening and they tend to play like 15 to 17 no trumps, North is expected to have closer to like a 12 count as a minimum. South might think, hey, it's imps, maybe they won't work out to lead clubs, or if they do, it could be good for us. Partner might have the ace queen. Partner could have like queen doubleton or king doubleton of diamonds, and we might be able to set up the diamond suit. 3 no trump has some play, it's imps, not really worthwhile to look for a part score. So they get to 3 no. We didn't really look at the play. We get a club opening lead from Cran, which is a little interesting. It's true that he doesn't really want to lead a spade. A spade away from the king could be a little sketchy, although looking at it, you know, neither North nor South has showed spades on this auction, so I'm a little curious why Cran didn't lead a spade against 3 no. But if 1 club is just this like artificial, any sort of balanced weak no trump type hand, 4th best from longest and strongest, how can you fault him? So a club went to the queen. Vince shifts back to the 2 of clubs, original 4th best, to the 10. Ace of clubs. And another club. And a spade comes through to the king. Diamond to the ace. Declarer claims his 8 tricks. It looks like at this point, after the heart pitch, he may have just asked, how are the hearts splitting, or is anyone squeezed? The opponents told him, and so he was able to make the rest of the tricks for down 1. Yeah, a couple of interesting points on defense. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but Cran's cache of the ace of clubs is notable. He didn't want to lead another club to his partner's king and then have Vince play a 4th round of clubs back to his ace. That would have potentially end played him. So he wanted to put his partner on lead with the 4th round of clubs so that a spade could come through. Anyway, so that was that table, and we'll take a look at the auction to 5 diamonds in the other room. This one, I don't know what this STD alert is. I guess It doesn't look very standard to me to open a diamond. Maybe it's alerted as like standard precision, if Hurd and Bathurst are playing precision. I don't know them. I know that Hurd and Wooldridge used to play 2/1, I think. So it's very possible that Hurd and Bathurst are playing precision. 2 diamonds forcing looks to be natural. 2 no trump by North, presumably this week no trump. Kevin with the south hand elects to bid 3 hearts. My guess showing hearts. And North holding, no fit for partners diamonds. Stuff in the black suits tries 3 no trump, and South elects to try 5 diamonds. So 5 diamonds probably goes off a trick or 2. We get a club lead, declare ruffs, tries a diamond to the jack, diamond return, and now what? Plays a heart to the 10. It's an interesting play in the heart suit. So the heart suit by itself, declare, wouldn't normally take this line of play. And I'm a little surprised that he did anyway. Oh. Okay, I have a theory. Right, so declare is in 5 diamonds. Yeah, we can all agree on that. Now, declare needs to lose no more tricks because he still has a diamond loser. This means he's going to need the spade finesse, but he still has to do something about this 3rd round of spades. It's possible that West has king doubleton of spades, in which case he could play a low spade, like, for example, he could now play a low spade to the queen, and if this held, then he could cash the ace and hope that West had, oh my god, these pop-ups are killing me. Is it just when I hover over it? Oh, this is gonna ruin the whole thing. But so spade to the queen, if East falls small, he could cash the ace. In this case, East would win the king, and that would defeat the contract very quickly. But he has the possibility of picking up an extra trick in the club suit, as long as he has enough entries to rough out the clubs and get back to the north hand to cash the 5th club. Clubs are 4-4, and he might actually suspect that from all the way back at trick 1 when East led the 6. This could be a 3rd best card from an even holding in the suit. So North may well suspect that clubs are in fact 4-4 on this hand. So what does that mean? When it goes diamond to the jack, diamond to the ace, he needs to ruff 3 clubs using his remaining 3 small trumps and get back to the north hand to cash the 5th club when the suit roughs out. That means he needs 3 entries to ruff the clubs and a 4th entry to cash the 5th club. So he has the king of hearts, and if the king of spades is on side, he would have 2 spade entries via finesse, but that's only 3 entries, so a heart to the 10 would have given him the requisite 4th entry to pick up the 11th trick. Now, in this case, he looks a little silly. The jack of hearts is offside, but it's imps, no real harm. He proceeds to ruff a club, play heart to the king, ruff a club, cash a heart, take a spade finesse, but with the king of spades offside, he just ends up with 9 tricks and 2 down. So, not a great match point result, but this may not have been his line of play at match points, and regardless, at imps, 1 down versus 2 down is not a huge deal. Against the other table in the match they played, that was only a 2-imp swing. Against us, they ended up losing a bit more. But so that was the first board that we played through. Board 2. This was what happened at our table. This is hilarious to me. that Randall completely forgot. Okay, like these pop-ups need to stop. Randall completely forgot that they played Drury by a passed hand. I don't know, I think he was getting settled in still. So it went a heart by West, 3 hearts, alerted as a mixed raise by East. Normally mixed raises should deliver 4 trumps. And Craig, of course, with his 18 count, bids on to 4 hearts. We get a spade lead. Interesting. I mean, this is a bit of a difference between imps and match points on this hand. At match points, I could totally get behind leading a spade. I mean, I of course would lead the jack. Standard honor leads, it's a little unusual to lead low from this kind of holding. But at match points, a spade or a club I think makes a ton of sense. At imps, I 100% would lead a diamond from this hand. I don't even think it's particularly close. You need to get to 4 tricks to defeat this contract, and if your partner doesn't have help in the diamond suit, you're probably not going to do very well defensively. So I absolutely would lead a diamond from Kurt's hand, but he'll let a spade. Declare elects not to try the 9 from dummy, just plays low. Spade to the queen. And Craig did well. He unblocks the 9 of hearts here, which could be important given that my hearts are, I have 4 of them. Plays a heart to the king, heart to the 8, pulls last trump, and he just doesn't mess around. He elects to set up the spade suit, roughing it out. Plays a club to the ace, plays a spade, and then elects not to take the club finesse in the end. Somewhat reasonable. Kurt could have done a little better job discarding defensively if he works out that Declares has this problem in the club suit. I mean, he sees me pitching all of these diamonds. He should basically know that I'm probably down to stiff ace at this point. But that is 11 tricks at our table, so Craig could have taken all of them on his line if he played a club to the jack at the end. Only a couple of over tricks. And let's see what happened at the other tables, because one table elected to play this in spades. We had pass and a 2 diamond opener by South. I did give that a little consideration on my hand, but I don't like doing this with newer players. I think it doesn't have a lot to gain, and sometimes you just get into massive trouble, and that kind of like puts your partner on tilt. So I don't like these kinds of preempts with newer players with an expert partner or someone that I had played with a lot and was happy to field my shenanigans. I might try it. It has a lot going for it in third seat. You know, the fact that you have the side heart suit is kind of a benefit to some extent, because oftentimes what happens is the opponents make like a takeout double and they wind up in the wrong suit. They might end up in hearts in a 4-3 rather than spades in a 4-4 or something if you start with 2 diamonds. But anyway, so Kevin Bathurst selects to open 2 diamonds. It's also a bit of a partnership stylistic thing, which he and John Hurd, I'm sure, have discussed. We get a takeout double from West. My suspicion is that Chris Wilenkin here, oh my god, please stop this. Chris Wilenkin probably would have overcalled 2 hearts if his hand was a little weaker. Like the same hand without the spade queen, he would probably just overcall 2 hearts. But I'm guessing that he made this double because he thought his hand was a little too good for a 2-heart overcall, and I tend to agree with that. The 18 count, I mean, singleton queen of diamonds is not necessarily a great asset, but the rest of the hand looks very prime, and the intermediates and clubs look quite nice as well. So takeout double, 4 diamonds by North. I like 4 diamonds. I would say I don't like a 3 diamond raise. Even if your partner is very likely to have 5 in third seat with this kind of hand, 3 diamonds doesn't feel like it has a lot going for it. The opponents will either bid 3 hearts or whatever suit they end up picking, and they still have enough room to explore. Also, it doesn't prevent East from, say, Q-betting 4 diamonds if they have a decent hand with both majors. So 4 diamonds really puts a lot of pressure on them to find their fit immediately. East with 5 spades had no trouble bidding 4 spades, and that passes out. Defensively, I was going to say I would have expected a diamond lead, but we get a heart from Bathurst. Somewhat reasonable, I guess, if he thinks that his partner might have a spade trick, which is possible. He could be hoping to give his partner a heart ruff using the ace of diamonds as an entry. One of the things at imps is that you want to try and come up with a way that you can count to the requisite number of defensive tricks before you make your opening lead. So Kevin Bathurst here is south, probably, came up with some plan and figured maybe I can give partner heart ruff. He expects West to have heart length. He has heart length. East may well have some heart stuff. So it's possible his partner's short. Maybe his partner even has the king of hearts sitting beyond or behind the takeout doubler. And he has the ace of diamonds as an entry. So if his partner does have like the ace of spades, the ace of clubs, and a singleton heart, he might be able to lead the heart, get his partner in with the ace of spades, or his partner wins the spade ace, crosses to the diamond ace, gets a heart ruff, and then cashes the ace of clubs. That would be 4 tricks to beat the contract. So I can't guarantee that's what he was thinking, but that's one idea that comes across my mind when I look at this lead. But as is, the heart runs around to the king. Declarer probably tries to pull trumps here, finds out about the bad split. Tries the ace of hearts, also finds out about the bad split, and then crosses in clubs to take a heart hook. King of diamonds, spade, but with 2 hearts and dummy, Declarer has pulled all the trumps and can just claim. 11 tricks. So well played by Jan Jansma on that one. The other table, they did find their heart fit. East opened their hand a club. This is lovely. I always forget how interesting Crayon and Vince are systemically. They make a lot of changes all the time, and so East opens a club with a 5-card spade suit, treating this as just like a weak no-trump type hand, I suppose. So a club by East, a natural heart by West, a no-trump by East. This is some crazy stuff. Has not showed spades at all in this hand. 2 diamonds by West. Looks like just a game-forcing check back. 2 hearts by East, showing some heart support. 2 no-trump by West. Presumably either some sort of asking bid or just generic, I want to right side the no trump in case we're actually headed towards more than just a game. Because West does have an 18 count opposite of opening bid. 3 diamonds by East. Not sure what that is. South elects to make a double. Pass, pass. And then 4 hearts looks to me to be like some sort of fast arrival bid. Which makes sense. I mean, if Crayon's going to open his 10 count over here balanced, then having a way to let your partner know that they should stop investigating slam is sensible. I think one of the reasons, well, I don't want to speculate too much. I also don't know what quarter this is from. This could be from the 4th quarter, and it might have depended on state of the match that Crayon elected to not show his spade suit here. But I will say that it's a lot easier to take 9 tricks than 10, and that could be a reason why Crayon elected to suppress the spades, where if you're going to open light on high cards, sometimes it's just difficult to reach a 10-trick game. But if the opponents don't realize that you have the side 5-card spade suit here for your 1 no trump rebid, then they might misdefend, they might miscount the hand, and 3 no trump could come home. So they get to 4 hearts. We do get a diamond lead. Obviously at this table there was a lead directing double here by South. Diamond to the ace, diamond return, declare ruffs, plays heart to the king, and claims 12 tricks. That feels like a lot of tricks. How did Declare just claim 12 tricks? Maybe the VuGraph operator lost the play somehow. I suppose that's possible. Okay, well. So, pretty flat hand, board 2. Let's open board 3. At our table, so I got a lot of criticism for my 4-spade overcall from the players, and we'll take a look and see what happened at the other tables. I don't think it's actually that crazy. You know, looking at my hand, okay, we can call it a 3-loser hand because in losing trick count, you assume finesses are working, so the spade finesse is working. But realistically, I have what looks like a spade loser, what looks like a heart loser, what looks like a diamond loser, and what looks like a club loser. Partner could have me covered. They might have the king of spades, king of hearts, and king of clubs, and we could miss a slam. But, you know, taking a look at what partner has, they have the king of hearts, the king of clubs, a decent 6-card heart suit, a small amount of spade support, and slam still doesn't make on our hands, at least not on a diamond lead. So, I don't know. I think 4 spades is okay, but that's what I ended up bidding. We did get a heart lead. I was able to take the heart hook. I played a spade to the ace, queen of spades, unblocked the ace of hearts, crossed in clubs, and claimed my 12 tricks, pitching a diamond on the king of hearts. At the other tables, so everyone, whoops, I need to control click to open this in the same window. So one of the other tables, Kevin Bathurst started with a diamond. It went double by South. This is the other option, right? If you're going to show a hand that has a stronger than 1 spade overcall, or you want to show a power hand with spades, you have to start with double. Pass by West, 4 hearts by North, pass by East, and I would feel terrible being in that spot. I don't know what I would do as South. I mean, one suspicion I have is that South doesn't have a 4-spade natural bid available to him. Because I would just bid 4 spades as South if that was natural. Partner would then know that I have a hand that was long, strong spades, too good to overcall at the 1 level. I imagine too good to just jump to 4 spades directly, and then they could play in 4 spades on this hand instead of 5. So my guess is that 4 spades from South would have been key card and hearts, and that also sounds very unappealing to me, starting with the double if you're going to be forced to get to the 5 level on these kinds of hands. You know, give West the king of spades over here and East the queen of diamonds, and the auction would have been the same, and you just go down at the 5 level. Anyway, I'm not going to disagree with Kevin Bathurst too much. I think that both options are fine. You know, his option has the chance of making a slam, and I, of course, would have looked silly if partner had the stiff king of spades over there instead of the small singleton. But so they get to 5 spades, diamond lead to the king, ace of diamonds, roughing, club to the king, spade to the king and ace, and declare claims. The other room, it went... This must have been some 4th quarter shenanigans from Cran, because he opens a no trump on this hand. It's not like a terrible 1-no opener. I'll give him that. You know, singleton king, the only way to give this card a bunch of value. is when you open a no trump. So he has that going for him. It is a 14 count. It's well within their no trump range if they're playing good 13 to 16. And the 6-card diamond suit looks like a potential source of tricks 3 no trump could easily make. Along with the fact that he's white on this board. You know, 1 no trump is much more preemptive than 1 diamond. But anyway, so no trump by east, what looks like a penalty double by south, redouble by west, presumably some sort of rescue bid, 3 diamonds by north. They must be playing some sort of like transfer, I don't want to call it Lebensal, but something where like north could have bid something at the 2 level to show just like a weak hand with a suit, like 2 clubs through 2 spades are probably weak with those suits. And this might be North's only forcing way to show hearts. So 3 hearts, or 3 diamonds by North showing hearts, double by East showing diamonds, 4 spades by South. I'll pass. This auction looks a lot more normal to me. But, okay, so we probably get a diamond lead again. Ooh, this time we get a heart lead. That's curious. Now again, I mentioned this on one of the previous boards, Vince over here in the West hand is trying to come up with a way that they beat this contract, right? Because they've elected to defend 4 spades, they haven't saved in 5 diamonds or anything of that sort. So West needs to come up with some layout that he's playing for where he can collect 4 tricks on defense. And he might suspect that diamonds is unlikely to be working out given his diamond length and the fact that Cran also has showed diamonds on this hand. So maybe he's hopeful that the opening heart lead can go heart to the queen, ace of hearts, heart ruff, and that'll be 3 defensive tricks, and then they can get 1 more somewhere, either from partner's ace of diamonds, or maybe partner has a club card. Whereas if he leads a diamond at trick 1 and South ruffs, South just gets to pull trumps, and then this potential for a heart ruff goes away. So that could have been what Vince was thinking with his heart lead. 10 of hearts, spade to the king and ace, queen of spades, ace of hearts, and this was the same line of play that I took. 11 tricks claimed. Wait a second. 11 tricks? Uh-oh. 11 tricks. That might be a Vugraph error, because it looks like all South needs to do is play a club to the king and a heart pitching a diamond to make 12, which is what I did. So maybe that's a Vugraph error. Okay, so that was board 3. Let's take a look at board 4. I passed a spade by West, 13 count. Really, really good 13. And depending on your no trump opener, you might open 14 to 16 if you had that kind of hand. I think some people would even upgrade it into like a 15 to 17 range. It's a little much for me. I believe often if you're going to upgrade by 2 high card points, you really should have a 6-card suit. And a pretty good 6-card suit, you know, like ace king 6th or ace queen jack 6th or something like that, or king queen 10 9 6th or whatever. Before you do that, because you really need a source of tricks to make up for the lack in high cards. But anyway, so Craig opens the spade, a no trump semi-forcing by East. I'll pass. I elected to lead my heart from my heart sequence. Went to the ace, the queen of spades. I was pretty sure I knew the spade position and thought that it was probably profitable for me to duck this trick. That would kind of cut down on the number of entries that Declare has to the dummy to set up the spades, but it looks like he has plenty. The king of hearts, ace, king of diamonds, there are a ton of entries to the dummy. I also didn't really know what was going on in the heart suit. You know, I was a bit worried if it went queen of spades holding, spade to the king, Declare might just have his 7 tricks in a no trump, so I hopped up with the ace, continued the 9 of hearts, spade to the 8, partner ducked, 2 rounds of diamonds, king of hearts, and I think we got the rest from here. So 7 tricks, not bad for Declare. I mean, he's quite happy to just make his contract. He didn't know what was going on in the club suit, so he was a little wide open in that one. I'm not sure it could have hurt to set up the last spade. Seems unlikely, but Randall elected not to do it. Regardless, it was only a over-tricked imps. The 2 other tables, so one of them, South as a passed hand, after hearing the auction, a spade check and no trump, came in with a takeout double. And I think this bid's okay. I don't think there's a whole lot wrong with it. I didn't do it on my hand. I guess just because we're not vulnerable. If we're missing a game, it's probably going to be okay to defend against a no trump undoubled. But anyway, that was kind of my thought on this one. So, takeout double by South. Of course, he's a passed hand. Kevin Bathurst would never have done this as an unpassed hand. The hand's just a little too weak. And North bid 2 diamonds, which ended the auction. They get a trump lead, which is pretty common for low-level contracts, especially after a takeout double. You often want to lead a trump and cut down on the potential for a cross ruff. So a diamond to the king. Club switch is a little interesting. Chris Wilenkin, despite the fact that this diamond lead has basically already prevented him from getting a club ruff, he goes for one anyway. I guess hopeful that his partner has like the king jack of clubs or something, and Declare misguesses the situation, lets them secure the club ruff. But club to the king, spade to the ace, spade, aha! Spade to the ace, spade to the king, and this sets up Declare's jack, which looks really devastating for the defense, because now Declare only needs to ruff 1 spade in the dummy. I think Chris probably should have got this one right. Oh my god. Just due to the fact that I guess I'm not entirely sure. This 3 of clubs could have been some sort of suit preference card, or maybe it was just discouraging. But this could be asking for hearts specifically. Either way, he might suspect that his partner would have led a doubleton spade with like jack doubleton, or small doubleton. I'm not sure. A trump lead makes a ton of sense. It's, I guess, a bit of a difficult problem, and Declare did well to put Chris to the test, but he flies king, which crashes his partner's queen, and now Declare is in pretty good control of the hand. I mean, he's not going to make this. He has a ton of losers remaining, but at least his jack of spades is set up. He'll be able to ruff his low spade, which he does now. 7 of spades. Jansma hops up with the jack of diamonds. Declare is able to pitch a heart, give his partner a club ruff. Heart over, ace of hearts, heart ruffed, and Declare is able to claim on a high cross ruff, down 2, minus 100. So East West could have picked up a bit of a sizable score if they worked out to double 2 diamonds on this one, but it's hard to say who should have made that call. I mean, West has this like maximum 1 spade opener, given that they didn't act over a no trump, and East also has like a maximum in terms of high cards, but neither one of them really has a trump stack. So The other table, though, had a huge result. 1 no trump by West. We kind of talked about this, playing good 13 to 16. This is well within the range. 3 no trump by East. A little aggressive. It's 10 highs, but opposite, good 13 counts or 14 counts. With a bunch of queens and jacks, this hand might be closer to an invite. I understand the 3 no bid. I think it's totally reasonable, though. Sometimes you're red at imps and you just want to blast a game. So 1 no, 3 no. We get the 9 of diamonds lead. Okay, is this enough to let the contract make? I suppose not yet. Declare hops up with the jack. And also leads the queen of spades off the dummy. South flies ace. Returns a diamond. So all of this makes sense. North has made kind of an unusual lead, the 9 of diamonds, but I assume this is just standard for them. 9 of diamonds to the jack. Queen of spades. Small diamond to the king. West hand's concealed, so let's see how Vince plays this to kind of coerce them not to cashing the club suit. Heart to the queen, spade to the 10, and jack. And now Declare has all of his tricks set up, right? If the defense does not cash out here, Declare is going to get 3 more spades, 2 hearts, and the ace of diamonds for 9 tricks. And North just continues the 8 of diamonds. Well, I think North should be able to work this out, right? West has already turned up with the king of spades, right? South won the ace of spades when East played the queen. So South would have won the king if they had ace king. So North knows West has the king of spades remaining. North knows that West has the king of hearts because a heart went to the queen and that held the trick. So North knows about the king of hearts as well. And North really should know about the ace of diamonds. If South had ace, doubleton of diamonds remaining, they wouldn't have returned a low one. They would have played the ace. Also, they probably would have just won the ace of diamonds at trick 1. So I think North should be able to work out that West started with all of these high cards. That would bring his total up to 13. And I know for a fact they're playing good 13 to 16 no trumps. So West can't have the club ace, or that would give him 17 highs. So to me, I think you can just switch to the 10 of clubs here. 10 of clubs, yeah, just in case partner has ace doubleton. You don't have a great count on the hand, so it's possible that you do need to unblock the 10 of clubs. It might be hard for your partner to read if you play the 10, though. So maybe you do want to just go king of clubs, queen of clubs, and pay off to the time where partner has ace doubleton, thinking you were never really cashing it out anyway. Because here, if it goes 10 of clubs, jack, ace, South might switch back to the 10 of diamonds. So I will say there is a bit of a problem. North does need to switch to clubs, and he might give up a little equity if he switches to the king rather than the 10. But he should be able to work out that his partner's marked with a club ace, just based on the high card count of the hand. So that looks like a pretty big mistake, letting 3 no through, and did cost them pretty dearly, 11 imps. Board 5. Oh god, I'm going so slow. I might only get through half of the hands. I'm going to try and wrap this up in about half an hour. Keep streams to about an hour every day, if I can do that. Okay, what happened on this hand? This was probably one of our best defenses of the day, or maybe my best defense of the day. So it went a heart, pass, a no trump, semi-forcing. I came in 2 hearts with my 5-5, spades, and a minor. 3 hearts by West is hyper-aggressive. I think there's no real need to do this. Reddit imps especially, and he got severely punished for it with a double from Kurt. Kurt did very well to double this, rather than, for example, looking for a spade fit. Like if I was playing with the robots, they might have been 3 spades on the north hand, and that's just kind of silly. But okay, so we got off to a spade lead, and I went small from dummy, and I had my first decision at trick 1. Now, I could win the ace of spades here, but what I was looking at is, let's say partner was leading from 3 small spades, which is possible. This gives West king jack third, right? In that case, what happens? I'm going to win the ace of spades, and I'm going to switch to a heart. Declare is going to take some finesse, our partner wins. But then our partner is just going to think, oh, this is great, now I can continue spades because there are no more hearts in dummy. That's going to give Declare an extra entry, giving them the spade finesse for free, and I didn't really want to do that. So I thought it was more beneficial to play the queen of spades. This way Declare was going to be in his own hand, and if he went about leading a low spade, trying to get the spade ruff, I could then win. He wouldn't have been able to take a second spade lead towards his hand to set up like king jack third, and then I could switch to a heart, my ace of spades would still cash. So when I played the queen of spades, I was mostly hoping that, you know, West with king jack third would have some difficulties in playing the hand. But when it wins, this also is really helpful to me, because this gives me a ton more information about how to play the hand later when I get in next, if I get in next. There are some difficulties. For example, partner looking at king third, an original holding of king third, may well, when I lead a heart and it goes 6, 7, 10, 7 of hearts, not a great play from Craig. Always play your highest card that you can afford. Play the 9, because when it goes 6, 7, 10, I know that Craig has the 9, 8. But so partner might think Declare has the ace jack of hearts. Now, it seems likely at this point that partner probably suspects I must have the ace of spades for my 2 heart overcall, otherwise what is my hand? So I think Kurt did very well to continue the king of spades here. So that held, I gave a count signal, spade to the ace, I continued another spade, ruffed and over ruffed, and you know, eventually Declare had a diamond guess and guessed correctly. So 2 down, 500 to us, but the other rooms did not get in as much trouble. Whoops. So one table basically did not overcall over a no trump. A heart pass a no trump. Boy of Brokeland passed with my hand. 2 hearts by West. Pass, pass, and then he balanced in with 2 spades. I don't think this is that unreasonable. You know, vulnerable at imps in the midst of 2 bidding opponents, I think you do want to be a little conservative, but it does depend a bit on who your opponents are. If your opponents are going to be bidding more aggressively, you also have to do that to counteract their style. You can't just let 2 hyper-aggressive opponents continue to bid, and walk all over you. And Boya should probably know better than that against these opponents, that Kren and Vince are hyper-aggressive in the auction, they'll open a lot of 10 counts, and the only way to really regain your equity on these hands is to, I mean, for one, double them often when they get to game, and 2, also bid aggressively. Overcall aggressively, open aggressively, and kind of play similar to their style. But anyway, so he elects to balance with 2 spades, totally fair. We get the singleton ace of clubs lead, diamond switch, diamond back to the king, ace of hearts, and a heart, ruffed with the 8 of spades, Cran doing his best to try and promote a trump trick for his partner, but to no avail. So Declara just pulls trumps and leads a club to the king to make 8 tricks. Gonna try and pick up the pace here. So a heart pass and no trump. This time Kevin Bathurst does agree with me. He comes in 2 hearts. Double by West. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, that this probably just shows I wanted to rebid 2 hearts. 3 diamonds by North, alerted as a good spade raise. Interesting. Double by East. So it seems as if 3 clubs might have been like pass or correct, or maybe 2 no trump as pick a minor. 3 clubs could have been natural. I'm not sure. It feels like they have an extra bid, and I don't know what they would use it for here, but 3 spades would just be like a competitive, like a preemptive, competitive type raise of some sort. Double by East over 3 diamonds, 3 spades, and West elects to bid 4 diamonds. A little aggressive on the 4 diamond bid. I mean, with 3 small spades. He might expect his partner to have a singleton a lot of the time. You know, this 3 diamond bid could often deliver a 4th spade. But he only has 3 card trump support for his partner's diamond suit, and his partner does not have a invitational hand in diamonds. My guess is they play a heart check 3 diamonds would be invitational. So 4 diamonds feels like you're aiming for a very narrow target, right? Plus 130 when the opponents are making exactly plus 140. It's a much better match point bid than an imp bid. I'll give that to him. But anyway, so 4 diamonds it is. North leads a spade. Kevin Bathurst puts in the ace. Different circumstances here. He could expect if he puts in the queen and it loses, Declara could just pull trumps and then maybe run the heart suit, pitching a spade loser from dummy. So he plays ace of spades, queen of spades. This is a good play to hold the lead. And he continues a spade. Interesting. I mean, this is the dummy over here in the east hand. So continuing a spade feels like just a generic non-committal action. Switching to clubs might make a little more sense. But this doesn't cost, so spade, ruffed, heart to the ace, king of diamonds, heart ruffed. Oh. I guess this makes some sense. Does it though? Wait a second. I'm not sure what Chris is playing for here. Maybe he's just playing for a generic cross-ref. Like if South did have a doubleton heart and singleton diamond, he could then cross to the ace of clubs, ruff a heart, ruff a club, ruff a heart, ruff a club, maybe get lucky in some end position. But all right, so this gets over ruffed, a club comes back, heart ruff, club ruff, heart ruff, club ruff, and there's only one more trick available because heart ruff and North has the last trump. So down 1. And just a push. I mean, one table, 2 spades making, the other table played in 4 diamonds, but they could have won the board if they had passed out 3 spades. So kind of goes to show that you don't really need to compete all the time at imps for the part score. Board 6. What time is it? I have 20 minutes. So board 6 at our table, we got to 4 spades. And yeah, it was just kind of a pretty normal auction, a spade, Michael's cubid. Note Randall doesn't really care that his club suit is so much stronger than his heart suit. Very important to show both suits. 3 hearts, limit raise and spades by me. I was always planning on game forcing, but it's important to show the limit raise so that partner can get involved with a 5-level decision. For example, if it had gone 3 hearts, 4 hearts, pass, pass, 4 spades, 5 hearts, now partner knows I have a game forcing hand and some values. You know, if it just goes a spade, 2 spades, 4 spades, 5 hearts, partner doesn't really know whose hand it is. 4 spades is often preemptive. So 10 of diamonds lead. Kurt does very well to dump the queen. This makes it look like it's very possible that this is 10-8 double 10 of diamonds. If he just played the 8, then West would know to give his partner a diamond ruff. But he figured it out anyway. So he switches to a diamond, gets a ruff, and then ace of clubs. And Kurt plays a spade to the ace. Spades don't split, so we are down 1. What happened at the other tables? Ah yes, 4 spades doubled down 1. So at one of the tables, Christian Baca opened 2 spades, and my suspicion is that this is intermediate. I don't think they would treat this as a weak 2 spade. Even red-white, first seed, it feels very conservative with an 11 count to not open this at the 1 level. So that's my guess, that they play 2 spades as an intermediate 2. 3 spades by East, some sort of Michael's Cupid, I guess, showing hearts in a minor. If this was a weak 2, East would have bid 4 clubs, so I think this kind of confirms my suspicion that 2 spades must have been intermediate. People do play some sort of leaping Michaels to show both suits here. So 2 spades, 3 spades, double by South, presumably some sort of values. Pass, pass, 4 clubs. South bids 4 spades, and West doubles. That's an exciting double by Vince. He must have been expecting Cran to have a bit more in the way of values for his 3 spade bid. Because just the ace of diamonds, I mean, the king of spades could be badly placed defensively, but it looks like it works out for them, so they do get the 10 of diamonds lead to the ace. Declare dumps the queen. Again, good play. Club switch at this table, so where we played the hand, they got a diamond ruff, but at this table, they get a club switch, which both lead to the same result. There are now 2 club tricks on defense. It's actually funny that Cran could now underlead a club to his partner's 9 to get a diamond ruff and beat this 2. After Declare pops up with the club king. So that's kind of hilarious to me, but it doesn't happen. So he just cashes the queen of clubs, which is very safe, switches to a heart, takes a spade hook, and is down 1. The other table, though, did a little better on the north-south cards. They do get to 4 spades, but east-west find the phantom sacrifice and 5 clubs. So it went 1 spade by north, 3 clubs, hearts and clubs. Isn't it nice to have these 2 suited overcalls that you can just show both suits? 3 hearts by south, 4 hearts by west, 4 spades by partner, or 4 spades by north. Sorry, it's not my partner this time, but north is often my partner in these. 5 clubs by east. I don't know how I feel about the 5 club bid. I mean, West bid 4 hearts, but 4 hearts is your weak suit. You know, it would be a little different if partner had bid 4 clubs here. Then I could totally understand trying to save in 5 clubs. You would be like, well, we have this giant club fit, partner bid my best suit, so they might have the club king. Looks like we don't have a lot of defensive tricks. Even if I do get a diamond ruff, we might only have the ace of diamonds, diamond ruff, and 1 club to cash. So 4 spades unlikely to go down, 5 clubs probably a cheap save, but when partner bids 4 hearts, it kind of feels like maybe you should take your chances on defense. Like, if partner does have the diamond ace, you might just be beating 4 spades. Anyway, so 5 clubs by east, double by south. Makes a ton of sense. I mean, south does have this big spade fit and some values, but he's just balanced. And we get the ace of spades lead. Looks pretty normal. 10, probably some sort of suit preference. Spade continuation, declare pitches a heart, takes a club hook, plays a diamond to the ace, diamond ruff, exits a heart, south wins, taps declare, exits a heart, taps declare, and eventually north-south get all 3 of their heart tricks. 4-2 down. Okay. Board 7. So this one I think was pretty flat across the entire room. We got a 5 club opener. I made a double. You know, you can't just unilaterally commit to bidding something with the south hand. Like, if you bid 5 hearts, you might miss your fit. If you bid, 5 diamonds or 5 spades, obviously you're just kind of gambling. So you just make a double, and oftentimes that ends the auction. You gotta let your partner know that you think this is your hand because you have some values. So I led the ace of hearts, continued another heart, and then I switched to the ace of spades and a spade. Declare ruffed, and was able to claim 10 tricks for down 1. In the other rooms, so we have another that was very similar, 5 clubs double. Boya leads the king of hearts. A lot of people play these king at the 5 level asks for count. So the ace would ask for attitude, the king asks for count, which is obviously what you want to do here. Kurt and I don't have that agreement. We don't have any very sophisticated agreements at all. So king of hearts, 10 from north, presumably showing an even number. So now Boya can cash the ace. 7 from north. This sounds to me like a upside down suit preference. So very similar defense to our table. South just cashes 3 tricks, and that's the end of it. But one table did reach 5 diamonds. 4 clubs by east, double by south, 5 clubs by west. I think we talked a little bit yesterday about how 4 clubs is maybe a little conservative. Part of the problem with it is, like, you want to open 4 of a major if you're content passing out you want to open 4 of a minor if you're content passing out 4 of a major from the opponents. And I think on this hand, I wouldn't be as east. There might just be enough reason that 5 clubs has play, if partner has a few, aces and kings over there, and 4 of a major feels like it's easily going to make. So even if you give up 500 on this hand, you'll probably do okay. Just opening 5. So 4 clubs double, 5 clubs, pass, pass, double. And north now, on kind of a similar auction to what happened at our table, elects to bid 5 diamonds. Now there are some differences. For one thing, south showed a good hand with the takeout double of 4 clubs, but then south shows kind of an even better hand with the takeout double of 5 clubs. Because north elected not to do anything over 5 clubs, and 5 clubs could have ended the auction. So the fact that north already had a chance to act and chose not to means south does need a little bit more to continue bidding here than they would to just make a single action of a takeout double of a 5-level opening bid, for example, like 5 clubs. So south has showed a little more in the way of high cards. Also, north probably suspects that their partner is very short in clubs on this auction and has a true takeout double. Sometimes, if it goes 5 clubs double, you might just have like a balanced 20 count here with even a club stopper. But when it goes 4 clubs double, 5 clubs, the opponents have found a fit, and then a repeated takeout double kind of sounds more like offense than defense. So for that reason, John Hurd does very well to bid 5 diamonds. I assume this makes, it looks like they have 2 diamond losers, and that's it. The Queen of Spades falls. So the Queen of Spades falls very quickly. So Queen of Spades to the king, a diamond was led to the king, an ace, spade attempted to ruff, but Declare is now able to just lead a diamond up towards the jack to make 11 tricks and a small win. 400 versus 200 is only 5 imps, but it's still a worthwhile pickup. Got about 10 minutes left. Let's take a look at this hand. So this is probably going to be the last hand that I look at today on stream, and then hopefully I'll be back tomorrow around the same time. I know this isn't very friendly to a lot of my viewers. People in Australia and New Zealand are probably just going to sleep, and people in the US may not have woken up yet, or might already be on their morning commute. But this is the time that I have allocated to streaming during my schedule for the days. So at our table, I opened a club, partner bid a heart, I bid a spade, partner bid 2 diamonds, artificial game force, I bid 2 hearts showing my heart support, and partner jumps to 6 no trump. I will say jumps to 6 no trump, especially these like giant leaps to 6 no trump, are really, really bad. You want to avoid this. There are a lot of reasons why newer players make these bids, and I guess I'll list a few. One of them is that newer players sometimes get tangled up when auctions get very long and complicated, and they don't want to, screw up missing a slam, right? If North, for example, bid 3 clubs here, or whatever it is that he did, and then South bids 3 no trump, let's say, and North bids 4 clubs, and South bids 4 hearts, and North bids 4 spades, and South passes, then North is going to get upset, right? And I see this happen all the time from newer players at local clubs. So that's a reason why a lot of the time they'll just jump to 6 no trump or jump to 6 of whatever if they think that they have a bunch of points and their hand can make a slam. But you don't want to do that because you can miss out on a grand. You might also play in the wrong slam, which is a little less important at match points, I would say. I mean, obviously it's important to try and find 6 no trump when you can at match points versus 6 of a major, or 6 no trump versus 6 of a minor. But what I mean by that is if you have values for slam and you just bid a slam, you're probably going to do okay in a match point field. At imps though, sometimes one slam offers a little better chances, and you could easily go down if you bid the wrong one, and that's going to cost you a sizable swing. So anyway, this kind of jump to 6 no trump, generally just not a very good bid. Sometimes you can jump to 6 of a suit, and it can be okay if you have a very distributional hand, and if the opponent's making the wrong lead, can let you make the contract. Whereas, you might be off a cashing ace-king, for example, and the wrong lead would let those losers go away. But in this case, with just a balanced hand, jump to 6 no doesn't have a lot going for it, and you can easily miss a grand. Now, with that said, maybe I should bid 7 clubs anyway, and I think I talked about some reasons why 7 clubs probably make sense, especially at imps on my hand. But one thing that I've kind of learned when I played a bunch of pro bridge in the past was that when your partner takes a very, very unilateral committal action in an auction like this, if you pass and it's wrong, everything's okay. Your partner is apologetic. They're just oh, sorry, I should have done something else, but I was scared of this happening and blah, blah, blah. And it's totally fine, you know, whether your partner is like an amateur player or a expert. It's all fine, right? But if you bid and it's wrong, then your partner is like, okay, well, I took this like really, really weird action. I get it, but now you just like completely stomped on the contract that I bid and my contract was making, and they get really upset with you. And this is like a very natural reaction, and I don't really fault, you know, my partners when they do that. So I've just kind of learned that you really want to be sure that you're doing the right thing if you pull a bid like this at the table. And I wasn't confident enough. I thought the partner could easily have had a hand with like a singleton club and like a long diamond suit, and just thought, well, I have this diamond suit, like I don't really have a fit for any of partner's suits. I don't have a heart fit, I don't have a club fit, I don't have a spade fit. So let's just take my chances and 6-no. We could have easily been off like the ace of hearts. Partner could have the exact same hand with like the king of diamonds instead of the ace of hearts. And then, you know, we're off a cashing ace at trick 1. So that's kind of why I checked out 6-no trump, but let's take a look at the other tables, because both of the other tables found their way to the best contract, which was 7-no. And then I will probably wrap up the stream here. So this table, John Hurd and Kevin Bathurst, they open a natural club, natural heart, 1 spade, unbalanced, showing at least 5 clubs, 2 diamonds, artificial game force. And now it looks like they have some sort of relay type system. 2 hearts does not show hearts, it just generically showed a minimum. I don't even know if I would treat Kevin's hand as a minimum. The 6th club, I think, is a huge asset, and all of his honors are working, despite 11 high card points, but it might just depend on their definition of minimum. Maybe it's just minimum in terms of high cards. 3 clubs by North. Good bid. I mentioned yesterday that when you're looking for slams, the first and most important thing that you want to do is secure a trump fit. That way you can start Q bidding, you can start finding out about controls or extra distribution that your partner has. You can bid key card if that's an important thing to do. So 3 clubs, kind of setting clubs as trumps. 3 hearts by South, natural, showing 3-card heart support now. 4 diamonds, looks like it is key card in clubs. Double by East. 5 spades. Wow. That is a very specific explanation. That is a very specific explanation. 5 spades shows good spades, an odd number of key cards, and a diamond void. Yikes. I wonder if they wouldn't have been able to do this if East hadn't doubled. Because they have a bunch of extra steps now over the double. They could pass and they could redouble. But maybe both of those bids actually have some alternative meaning, and this is just like what they would normally do if East hadn't doubled. But good spades is, I think, the unusual part of this kind of thing. Okay, so 5 spades, and North, realizing now that their partner has king, queen, 4th of spades, and the club ace, I think can count 13 tricks. They have 4 spades, 3 hearts, a diamond, and 5 clubs. Yep, that's 13 tricks. So 7-no trump, good bid. Let's see what happened at the other table to get there. So this time we have Baca and Brogland. A club by South, 2 or more. So this could just be a weak no trump. A diamond by North showing hearts. A heart showing 3-card support. 2 diamonds, artificial game force. 3 clubs, looks like it's natural showing clubs. And again, you know, I've harped on this a bunch, but very, very important bid by North here, 4 clubs. I'm interested in slam, and this is the trump suit. You know, it doesn't matter that North plans to correct anything to no trump later, you just have to pick a trump suit, otherwise you're not going to get enough information about what your partner's hand looks like. So, 4 clubs by North, 4 diamonds key card by South. Interesting. I assume 4 diamonds is key card by South. Maybe it's not. Maybe this was just a Q-bid. If 4 diamonds was key card, hold on, I can probably figure this out. No, 4 no trump wouldn't be a normal response. Okay, so 4 diamonds is probably just a Q-bid by South. 4 no trump key card. 5 diamonds showing 1. And North heard enough. They just bid 7 no trump. Now, at this table, North has a bit less information because the king of spades could have been the king of diamonds here. And then how many tricks do they have? Well, the fact that South has the 6-card club suit gives them an extra. But let's say South had like king doubleton of diamonds. No, maybe that's impossible given the auction. 3 clubs sounds like it has long clubs. Oh, South never showed spades. Oh, okay, hold on. What if South has like queen doubleton, 3 small, king jack doubleton, no, king jack third, and ace jack fifth. They would have 5 clubs, 3 hearts, 2 diamonds, and a spade. That's only 11 off the top. So it looks like at this table, North-South had less information when they made their decision to bid 7 no trump. I don't fault North. I mean, finding out that their partner has 1 key card, anything else on the outside would make 7 no trump a sensible place to play. You know, a 6th club would have given them a 12th trick in the previous construction I came up with. The queen of diamonds would have given them a 12th trick. Jack of hearts would give them an extra trick. The king of spades would give them multiple extra tricks. So I think 7 no trump is a very sensible choice, but it looks like he may not have been as confident as his counterpart at the other table. But those are 2 good auctions to reach the top spot on this one. And versus our pair at our table, they earned themselves 11 imps on that one. But in the actual match, it was a push at both tables.